I felt like it was going absolutely insane. The whole world was spiraling out of control. Working 120 hours a week, beating records that I never planned on ever beating in my life, right? But uh, we just couldn't keep doing it anymore. I was, no matter how much I worked and how busy I was, I couldn't keep up.
Yeah, you couldn't
Yep.
keep up, and you were making a lot of money, but you were still broke.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of us have been there, but I was blown away because, like you said, you were working 100 hours a week, killing it. Customer satisfaction was high, numbers were high, but because you weren't delegating, because you weren't passing stuff off, and you weren't having somebody basically say, "Hey, we're going to cut this spending because it's messing up the bottom line,"
Mm-hmm.
you were killing yourself for nothing. Like not nothing, but you weren't getting what you really wanted out of it.
Yeah.
So what changed?
Well, I think it was a series of events, right? In the beginning part, I had to not necessarily delegate to other people, but when it first started, company wise, I had to delegate time, right? Time blocking. That was the first system in place. And then, what we've gone through over the last several months now has been time blocking my time and saying, no,
Yeah,
I don't,
we talked about that a lot last week.
I don't have time for this. I don't even have my reading glasses. There's no way in the world I'm going to be able to read that. I don't know what I was thinking. That's,
I thought you were going to write it on the board instead of just pin it to the board.
I definitely should have. Yeah. Yeah. That's really good right there. I think we better print off a bigger sheet.
We
With
need a
some
bigger
block-
sheet.
bigger, the Magna Carta. That's what we need. Yeah. Big paper. Yeah. Whatever it means in Jewish or Greek.
Magna Carta, 1546. Ooh.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Chris Farley taking off his shirt.
Yeah. So Chris Farley, so great. I just loved it when he was sitting out there. He was being one of those gals, and they're in like the mall food court, He's talking like a girl, and then the other gals goes to take his fries, and he goes back to his Chris Farley voice, So funny.
Stephanie, don't touch my fries.
Yeah. Just like that. Yeah.
Joey doesn't share food. Or you'll be living in a van down by the river.
Yeah. Him and Patrick Swayze doing that Chippendales thing. So anyway, when you're busy, you can't enjoy stuff like this, right? Sitting down and making a joke, right? They happen, but you don't remember them periodically throughout the day. I mean, I'm still laughing when you're doing busy, but the first system that went into place, especially as we grew so rapidly, truly was somebody handling the things that you're not good at, right? So that is definitely an administrator of sorts, a bookkeeper. Most people in trades or any sort of business, unless for some reason your business is accounting, you're not going to be exceptional at it, not even that, right? I'm good at a lot of things, and there's certain things that I say I'm not good at, so I don't get asked to do them. And then there's also things that I know it's not profitable for me to do those. And that takes time to sit down logically and go, okay, how do I make money? What's my primary source of income? And then what are things that somebody else can do for, say you're charging out wherever you are, $100 an hour to, I think, like even if you're accountant, right? Because it's on the other end of the spectrum there, $75 to $400 an hour is what they charge. At $75 an hour, what should you be doing for that? Well, you should be billing out somebody else, correct?
Yeah.
And if there's something that you're doing that requires you not to bill somebody else out, which is maybe keeping track of your own books or cleaning your office or whatever,
Yeah,
and you could pay somebody $15 to $20 an hour to do that, well, then it's a no-brainer.
absolutely.
And those are things that they don't happen until you put them down in writing. We know that we're supposed to get an administrator and an office staff and somebody answer the phone because that's what everyone else has done.
Right.
But to know what their direct position is, the system that needs created is I need someone for this position, and this is what they're going to do, which allows me to make more money.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're the source of profit right now.
If they're charging you anything less than, well, basically anything less than what you bill the customer, all right, now all of a sudden you're making money because your capability and your production capacity has been multiplied, but you're not paying that person as much as you'd have to pay yourself.
Yeah, you're doing 10 hours of build time a day instead of maybe 6, right? And so the $350 that you'd be getting extra in that time, well, it's way more than that person working for you is going to make.
So it takes being honest with, okay, this is things that I'm not best at and aren't making me money. And then, okay, not being such a control freak that you're able to let that go. So it's a little bit of honesty and then some discipline.
And the control freak part can come from multiple areas. Sometimes it's because you don't know what you should be doing when they're doing that. And that's usually some form of guilt, right? That we talk about a lot on here. And then the other side of it is it needs to be perfect.
Yeah.
And
if you don't do it, you don't know
there's good plumbers and there's perfect plumbers, and good plumbers get along great and do wonderful work, and they're slowly honing their skills, things like that. I have a tendency to be a perfect plumber, right? Not that I'm perfect, but how my work is.
You don't walk away from the job until it's perfect.
And it's not necessary for 90% of the calls, right? There's no way to perfectly put a valve in underneath the kitchen sink, right? And so when you start to let some of those things go, not letting go of your quality of work, right? You're still able to, you're doing the customer a favor, and you don't even realize it at the time. When you say no to them or other things, or that's good enough, you're actually doing the customer a favor because you're able to work on other things inside the business, because our desire is to give great customer service, make a lot of money, and the lifestyle we want to create for our own families and everyone that's working for us, for the most part, right? And that takes a lot of time and energy too, and I'm working on those things if I'm saying no to something else. So yeah, best system in place, number one, is definitely figuring out what position do you need to fill to not only, if you're just doing a small company, you still need somebody there to where you can get your billables, right? As a small business with 1 to 5 employees, you should still be able to bring in a revenue of, 7 figures, right? Ideally. And everyone's taken care of, and you're creating the lifestyle you want. And if you're going to be involved in that whole thing, the only way to make that happen is to put revenue producers into only revenue producing spots.
Roles, right?
Roles.
Yeah. You don't have the guy who bills at $75 an hour washing trucks. You don't have the guy who, is able to create a finished product that you can sell for thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars, doing paperwork, unless he's the only one who can do that. And even then it's like, okay, if you're saying he's the only one, I'm going to call bullshit.
Right.
So what I guess, give us some light bulb or, some aha moments of like, oh my gosh, this worked even better than I thought it would. I knew I had to do this, but I didn't think it was going to work this good.
I'll give you an older one, and then I'll give you
one for the 20th century.
Yeah,
21st century.
Yeah, I'll give you one from like the 1950s when I started this to now today, and 2025.
We're not that old, Jackson.
26. My bad. Yeah, I got the wrong year there for a moment. So probably the first aha moment was when John, my first guy, came on after a year of just really working hands-on together. I started, we got him a van and we put him out, and it was gratifying because I had trained him, and good for him, and gratifying for him because he had worked hard to earn that right of me trusting him to go. And then at that moment, income doubled, and just the joy of working, it definitely felt like that, right? The most recent one is now that same position of where he started as an apprentice and then in the field by himself, and has now brought him back into the office, and doing like half office, half field work as a service manager. Not only has he earned it, which is awesome to see for his family and for me, but he handles all those phone calls.
Yeah.
And leads the team. He loves leading the team. And so it's great. The aha moment through both of those situations is seeing other men succeed and being the men that they should be for their family, right? And that's the ultimate mission in this is the profitability, but there's the emotional side to it too. There's no greater place to be than here if you're going to be in this trade. They'll get the best for their home, spiritual growth, any of those things, personal growth. But yeah, that was like, I wish I'd have made this. I wasn't able to afford it at the time, but I wish I'd have made a service manager position, sooner, a year ago. But I wasn't ready to step out of being a part of all of these things. And I don't know whether he was ready yet either.
Yeah,
at that point.
And that's one of those things where sometimes there's not a right or wrong answer.
I don't think, yeah.
And, for you guys out there building your own businesses, don't stress too much about making the exact right call, because you'll kind of know when you're truly ready to let go of something, pass it off, train the guy or gal, whatever it is. And if you do it too soon, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. You're going to learn something, you're going to grow, and maybe you keep pushing through even though you weren't quite ready. And then you get to that point, because these guys aren't going to grow unless you actually give them responsibility.
Right.
And maybe you pull back and say, okay, that wasn't right. I'm going to find a different person, different role, whatever it is. Oh man, totally lost my train of thought. Oh, I know what I was, before when you were talking, a Zig Ziglar quote popped into my head, and talking about you'll never reach a certain success level unless you help other people become successful.
Oh no, it's almost exactly like that, right? If you want to get somewhere in life, the only way to get there is to teach others how to get what they want.
Perfect.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
This is why he makes the big bucks.
Yeah.
Well said. And it's so true. Like you want to see like the most successful people in the world. Most of them, well, none of them get there alone, but the really truly happy, successful ones bring their friends with them, and they teach people to do things that they didn't think they could do.
Right.
So if you really want your business to explode, start delegating, start giving people responsibility, and start let them fail. Let them fail forward, because you win or you fail, right?
Right.
You win or you learn. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah, you win or you learn. But you also, in those moments where you do feel like you're drowning, it usually means that you haven't delegated enough.
Yeah.
And that's the part where I have been blessed with a team that asks me, what can I take off your shoulders, right? But I have to very consciously, multiple times a week, write down what are things, and then I'll catch myself, what are the things that I'm doing that I shouldn't be, or somebody else could do better, or could learn to do just as well. And I catch myself all the time, like, why am I reading this? Here, when you can you handle this, right? And some of them absolutely love it, like price book stuff right now that we're working on. I have an office gal that loves to deep dive into something and find out every intricate detail all the way down to the first point.
Sounds miserable to me. Thanks.
And yeah, it's painful, right? And she just excited. So we're going to start working on that together.
Which is great, because I told you to get the price book done, a year ago? Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. I should have. It's really one of my last big projects that will take, there's a couple, probably 2 to 3 months to get it to the point where it's just refinable.
Right, where you're just adjusting for price increases and
exactly, and there's
like
a way to automate some of that stuff too. So probably 3 months left in it, and that's my last big project.
That's awesome.
Of this, and then there's new policies and systems that we'll be working on throughout that time.
So price book, SOPs finished, and then it's
SOPs are finished,
like,
but
hey,
they're constantly refined too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, exactly. Finished.
And now we have to get more
detailed
to where every position, including my own, has a breakdown of what can be done throughout the week on which days. That way the positions are,
How much are you using AI for that part of it? Because I feel like it could do it for you. It won't be perfect, but if it creates a big framework for you, and then you just go in and say, nope, that's not quite right. Let me adjust these things. Are you using it?
I use it little bits and pieces. I was playing around with it a little bit yesterday. There's a couple of real whizzes here that I just honestly share my thoughts, and then they build it.
Oh yeah, there you go.
So we use
Beautiful.
AI
Delegate,
a
delegate,
lot,
delegate.
and I've learned that I don't know. Once again, people that use it a lot know how to word it correctly on there to tweak it just gently. I'm not quite so skilled at that.
Yeah, well, that's where that expression AI is not going to steal your job. Somebody who knows how to use it really well is going to steal your job.
So yeah, they use it a lot. It's not, once again, not my skill set. There are certain things that I love to dive into that I like to learn well. AI is not one of them, even though it could probably be beneficial. Maybe I just haven't had the headspace for it right now. There's still a lot more I would love to learn about life in general before there's really a whole new skill set that I want to learn in.
Come over to the house weekday mornings, mostly Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and you can sit in with my kids homeschool. We do gather round, and I'm learning a wealth of knowledge, and just sit in with us, and you can learn too. You said you wanted to learn about life in general, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to sit in with my four
I
kids.
love your kids. And it means I'll get breakfast too, and I'm just fine with that. But
That is a good idea.
Going back to school just sounds painful,
It's, I obviously I was joking. I don't think you need that class, but you're welcome anytime. Send Renzi over, or Callie. Well, yeah, Callie. Well, I was thinking, is she out of school yet? No, not quite. Anyway, diversion.
Well, she's 14. Yeah.
I forget how old your girls are. Sorry, I don't.
Jeez,
one's graduating, the other one's not. Anyway, also diversion. These hoodies are soft, man.
Aren't they nice? I found them. Yeah, that was my pick.
Ooh, well done. See, can't delegate everything. Keep the fun stuff for yourself. Back on point. Any other I guess nuggets you want to share with people who are trying to figure out, okay, how much do I delegate? When do I delegate? Or should I? Is it really worth it?
That's just diving back into our last episode, right, from last week with the, knowing when you're too busy. You have to, usually for business owners, especially in the grinding season, you're going to have to take that time first thing in the morning and just be honest with yourself and go, I'm way too busy.
Mm-hmm.
What do I need to do in this? Well, it could be you're too busy and you can't afford to hire someone because you're not charging enough. And so find out the real reason of what your busyness is. And you go, well, even now, there's moments where I need these things in place, and I'm like, wow, we can't afford to right now. And there's a season for saving, and depending on workflow, where we need to put our income in that moment. And you guys can see that from last week's episode on YouTube, but it's making small changes in quarters, right? Of small changes during, we overwhelm ourselves with lists of what we're going to accomplish, and then we don't get any of them done, whether it's the end of the day, the end of the week, the end of the month. And so you have to break all those things off into small little bite-sized chunks and go, these next 3 months, quarter one, right? That's how we talk about it in business. Quarter one, this is what we're going to accomplish. And then you're slowly getting somewhere. It may not be as fast as you want, but you'll have to slow yourself down. That's impatience. I deal with it on a daily basis. And I go, for this next 3 months, this is where we're going to be. And we're gonna establish this. We're gonna make it consistent because employees need consistency to feel safe. Right? And then this is where we're going to be here. So we have our business goals for the next, 2 years, and all those quarters are broke down into what's going to accomplish that to reach that goal. And then you just go, oh yeah, I'm here for the ride.
Yeah. I think the nugget that I pull out of that is we went from like daily goals and weekly goals to monthly, quarterly, and yearly goals. And it makes such a difference because you don't feel like you have to sell $75,000 worth of service every single day.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if your guys felt that way, but I know I've been in that mode of like, I've got to do this much today. I got to do this much tomorrow and the next day. And if I don't, I'm a failure. And you're never going to do it every single day. Like no
No.
matter how good you are, no matter how great your product is, your market, whatever, there's going to be days where nobody buys. It's just how it happens. So giving yourself that system and the breathing room to say, okay, how do we do this quarter? It allows you to have days where, not that you didn't make any money, but you didn't hit your goal maybe for that day, but you hit it for the week or you hit it for the month, even though you had a couple of bad days. I think that makes all the difference in the world. Not feeling like, hey, I got to do it all now.
Well, yeah. And I teach many of my staff that, like 26 items, pick 4 of them. And pick 4 of them. That's what you're going to accomplish today. Well, I'll get those done by 2. Well, perfect. Then take 1 more off your list and you're going to feel super successful. It goes back to the same logic of making your bed in the morning. Right? You don't want to end the day every day. And I've had that conversation so many times with people that I work with and I love them to death. That you don't want to go home feeling like you haven't accomplished something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there may be days that aren't as fun as others, but make it to where you win every day.
Yeah. Yep. So it's a mental decision of like, okay, I'm gonna simplify. I'm not gonna be quite as busy, and then actual habit of making your bed is the first one. If you're gonna work out in the morning, just get it done.
Right.
Go do it, and then hey, I've already got 2 things off my list or 2 things that I've accomplished today.
Yeah.
And then when you get to work, it's like, okay, cool. I'm already winning. If I knock these 3 things off my work list, man, it's a great day. Did I hit my goal? Doesn't matter. I accomplished 3 big things or 3 little things, whatever it was. Having that mindset. The other thing that goes along with it is expectations. If you expect, you're like, oh, I expect to knock all 26 things off my list today, and you don't, well, then you failed.
You failed, and you wake up the next morning
if you get
feeling
20
the
of
same
them
way.
done, but you didn't hit 26, you're didn't do it. Got to move this over to my tomorrow's list.
Yeah.
But if you're just like, hey, I expect to do 4, I did 15.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm killing it. That mental shift. It for some people that's the difference between like feeling suicidal and like, God, I just kill myself.
The whole
I'm totally worthless.
Total lack of dopamine, right? When you're doing something like that. So I have like 35 items on a price list right now that I've got to create, and the list is huge. So it takes me about 10 minutes per item. So I put 6 of them down and I block an hour. And I'll get 6 of them done every day. And some days I come in and there's 2 more added to the list. So I'll bring those over to my notes, add those. And I've got them all broke down, now because I was failing on getting them done. Because it looks at the list and go, that's overwhelming.
Like, what sounds a lot more fun is going to talk to a customer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's the other thing is if it's easy or if it's doable, we're more likely to do it. If it's pie in the sky, and that's never going to happen, you're just not going to do it.
No. And there's times, and you got to suffer through some certain things and do the jobs that you don't like to do, but you can't do that sustainably for a really long period of time.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And that's what it takes to be successful in business.
I'm a plumber. I'm made for being in the field, fixing things, right? Computer is not my thing. I have had to create ways for me to be successful at it. Whereas most of my work is on the computer now. And I can't say I dislike it or like it. It's neither one of those because they make me money.
Computer work.
Yeah, but I've learned how to make it to where I'm successful at it, at least achievable at what I want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's the other thing is don't be afraid of. We already talked about not being afraid of delegating, but don't be afraid of doing some new things, figuring out what you're good at.
Mm-hmm.
Which I bet our audience isn't afraid of that because most of them are entrepreneurs and they're like, "Oh, yeah, I could do it. Of course I can. I'm smart. I can do it." talking about that I don't know, just that unhealthy mindset of, try to do everything every day, never get enough done, all that stuff. At the networking group I go to every Tuesday morning, Big Montrose, Business Intentionally Grown. This was middle of last year, everybody was talking about their struggles in business. And I don't even remember what the prompt was or how it started, but went around the room and virtually every one of them said, I've got too many things on my list. I don't get them done. I get distracted easily because I'm ADD.
Oh, yeah.
Out of
30, I
30,
remember that one. I was there for that. Yeah.
Out of 35 people, I would bet that at least some of them don't actually have ADD. They're just entrepreneurs. They're just business owners.
Yeah.
And we feel like, oh, we got to get everything done. But just a healthy mindset saying, okay, I'm going to get this thing done today. And I preach this, but I'm not very good at it either. But I'm going to get this thing done today. And then everything else is gravy.
Right.
Having that focus. And then, the other healthy discipline of, okay, this is what I'm working on. I don't care what the phone rings, the emails come in, the kid comes in with a poopy diaper. It doesn't matter. I'm going to get this thing done before I move on to the next task.
Yeah.
That's, do those two things and your business will show and you'll be happier.
Yeah. It may just take a little bit longer, but it'll get there, right? The fact is, if you stay busy, you'll just be stagnant, right?
Yeah. And I would contend that it probably won't take as long because slow is smooth, smooth is fast. And the less time you spend doing this back and forth, trying to figure out,
staying focused.
Yeah, stay focused on it. The faster you're going to get where you want to go. At least that's been my experience. And I think we've seen that in your business when we stopped trying everything and like, oh my God, let's try this. Or what works now? And just said, okay, this is the system. This is the price book. This is the formula, and let it go. That's when I feel like we've been the happiest, the smoothest, the most profitable. I don't know. Maybe you disagree.
No. I'm with you 100%. I mean, there was purposes for all of it, but now some of the team size has allowed me to be more intentional. But it's not that I couldn't have been intentional in the first place. I just didn't know how to. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think you've gotten really good at giving yourself grace and saying, I'm working on that. I'm not great at it yet, but I'm working on it.
I think it's the same thing with all of this is you give yourself the grace to go, you're only human. Yeah, I've made some stupid mistakes in just hiring and, people I've allowed in here, stuff like that, or different business ideas inside this company that I've come up with. But it's something that definitely I've grown from, right? But if I'd have been so busy, and in those moments where you saw me so busy, I was just doing the same mistakes over and over again. And that's not beneficial either.
No. Fool me once, shame on me.
Yeah, I'd have woken up 10 years, 10 years later again and been like, thought I'd been further by now.
Yeah.
Because I do it.
Yeah. And you talk about depressing, right?
Yeah.
I took probably at least 5, maybe 10 years too long to quit my day job. Just because I was comfortable making good money. You can call it golden handcuffs or fear of failure or whatever you want to call it. Love of stability. But I should have cut the cord and jumped and now I'm like, oh man, I should have done it sooner.
Trust fund babies, Yeah.
My parents. That's not exactly the situation.
It's not super accurate.
Man, if there is a trust fund, they are hiding it good.
Hiding it well. Yeah. A safe deposit box. Yeah.
I think their money's in their mattress.
Yeah.
No, that's a whole other podcast. We could talk about some fun ones. Yeah. But we both grew up with that, right? Both of our parents are business owners. Kind of first generation business owners, I think, right? Like really
my grandparents
bootstrapping it and figuring it out.
My grandparents had a restaurant on my mom's side when she was younger, and so but that was it. That was something they had for several years, and then moved on. I don't think it was super successful, but definitely good food,
I mean, that's all that matters.
Yeah. Poutine and stuff.
A little poutine. That
Well, the
sounds
British
good.
came up with it first. The Canadians claim it now.
Yeah. Well, that's how most things start, right?
Yeah.
We come up with it, somebody else steals it and copyrights it or whatever.
Which is weird because Canadians are so friendly. You can normally just take whatever you want from them. That's weird for them to take something from us.
There's a lot of jokes there.
Yeah.
Tune in next week when we start insulting all the Canadians
Right.
because of our big Canadian audience. Watch out. You know, they probably don't have a whole lot of entrepreneurs up there anymore because what's his name? Now I'm blanking on the premier of Canada or whatever, the president.
I don't even know.
Yeah, he's run them all. He's either put them all in jail or run them out of business and sent them to America. He put them on the government health care, and now we can't find them.
Oh.
How are you? How are you, Bob?
Or hey.
Yeah, Canada. All right, I think that's our cue.
That's our cue. All right, sounds good, guys. We'll see you next week.
Yeah,
Thanks, Ryan.
We're having a special guest. Maybe I don't know if it's next week or the week after, but tune in and like, share, subscribe. Love you.